So we have registered into developer edition. And this is my Lightning experience. I'm into setup. And this is my company information page, right? So hope you have done your practice as we discussed yesterday, right? So I given access to all of you. Okay, the file is not opening. Yeah, maybe you cannot preview it, but you can download and see the file. Okay. Okay, we'll revisit the company information page. So the company information page, we have a organization ID. You can track your company details here. Okay, and there are few important field. I introduced certain the terms, the glossaries here, right? The label, and I am in edit page, isn't it? I'm in edit page. This is my field to enter value, and red mark means it's a mandatory field. Okay, red mark means it's a mandatory field, right? Over here, we have a locally settings. How do you pronounce that? Locally settings and currency settings. We'll just have a quick, quick information about this. It is not necessary to have a hands-on on this, but knowing this, what it is, might help sometimes, to see the which language a user is working on, what currency user is following. Okay, now we have three different field here: D for locally, D for language, time zone. So D for locally, you have many different options here. This option decide. So currently it is in English India, isn't it? This option decide what is the format of date, time that we follow in our org, within our org. So default locally has three different default language, default locally, and default time zone. So default locally determines what is the date and time format. Which means currently it is set as English India, right? Whether it's English India or United States, time format would be month, date, year format. Get it? And I mean the date format. I'm sorry, date format. The time format would be AM PM format. The time format would be AM PM format. The 12 hours format. Suppose I set it as English United Kingdom. In that case, the date format is going to be DDMM year format, and the time would be 24 hours format. So where this format is being reflected all over the org, all over the org. So if you would have noticed in the same page at the bottom, we have a date captured somewhere, right? So many places within the org, the date would be captured. You get it? And the time would be captured. So currently, what is the format it's captured? The format is okay. It is not in month date, right? Okay. India's following. For language. Let me get into. Oh, okay. We follow. Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah, we follow the different date format. Yes. Okay. It is some other way actually. Yeah. If it is in United States, this is a format. And I think it's going to be 24 hours. And is United Kingdom or India, it's going to be date, month, AM, PM format. It is not quite practically we'll use all the time, but it's good to know about what is default locally, right? We are not going to change these frequently in real time. It's always been set, right? Very rarely as administrator you touch this part. So reason, which country, which option decide what format. Sometimes we are not frequently used, so I miss it. Okay. Anyhow, when you change this, you'll come to know what is the time and date format reflected in your org. So the date and time format determined by the option called default locally. Default locally. Suppose I change this to United States, English United States. Okay. So let me change this and show you. Okay. The reason why it is not changing, it's still in uh, the format which we had earlier, right? Which means English India, right? Which was a old default locally. The changes what I made here is in my company page. Changes where I made here is nothing but the company page. So how normally uh, the locally setting works? Okay, the company setting works. So in the company setting page, I have the default locally as English India, which means this is a format we are following. This is a format we'll set for date and time. So from the company setting page, all the users in the org, example myself, right? So I also inherited the same locally setting. I also inherited the same locally setting. So any new user I'm adding now will also inherit the same locally setting, which is nothing but English India. Okay, so reason we had earlier the format, date, time, date, month, year, and AM PM format. So I change this in my company setting to English United States, isn't it? I change the company setting to English United States, which means the changes is done only in the company setting page, but still my page, my user page, it means the page of administrator, still in India. It is not changed to United States, because any new user we are adding, that will inherit company settings locally, but existing user will remain what was inherited earlier from the company setting. What it remain, the same locally will be available for user page. In case if you like to change this, you have to go to the user page and you have to change this. You get it? Why I'm seeing the same locally settings that was inherited when I first registered into the developer edition. Any new user we are adding, that will inherit the company setting page. So now any new user we are adding, that will inherit United States. You get it? So first, when I registered, it was inherited the old existing default locally settings. And anytime you change your company setting, which will be reflected only for the new user, not for the existing user. You get the point? So existing user, still in English India. How to verify that? How to verify that? Below your administration, we have users, and we have users here. Below your administration, we have users, or else you can quickly locate here. You get it? You can quickly locate here. So it is not necessary you need to remember all the setup options. Uh, if you are very new to Salesforce, you might be follow the right path to locate the options, but I would suggest go with the quick find box. Go with the quick find box. So whatever options you're looking for, just enter the text, then you can locate that option. So over here, I can see all the list of users in my org, all the list of users. So currently there are 4 users, listing here, right? 4 users. Myself and 3 other users are test users. They are not real users. They are not real users. In developer edition, it's common. Okay, when you registered, you will also see 3 more additional users added in your org, but they are not real users. You get the point? So now I have my own user page. I click on this. I can see the detailed view of my page. When I click on this, I can see the detailed view of my page. When I click on this, it will take me to the edit page where I can update my value, update my data. Okay, so I just go to the detail page. So you can yeah, so you can see here the locally is also available here, which is valued as English India, right? So which means that was inherited from the company setting page when we initially registered. For any new user we are adding, that will inherit the new company setting, which is nothing but English United States. Now it is English India, right? Now I can change specific to the user. As an administrator, I can change anything in my page and also change other users settings also. Okay, so now I change this to United States and say. So now what happens? Now what happens? That the date format is becoming now month, date, month, date. Okay, of course, the time is not changed. Okay, so I'm a bit confused what format is following. When you change this, you'll come to know what exactly the format. AM/PM format, right? Okay, uh, so United States become month, date, and it's AM/PM format. Okay, the time format is remain same, but you'll come to know what format it's being followed when you change that option. That's the best way. Okay, because sometimes we confused with what format. It is not necessary to remember uh, that format, but you'll come to know when you change the options, you will visit the page, you'll come to know what is the format currently following. That's it. Okay, so now the important thing to understand here is the company settings page will reflect for all the new users. Specific to user, you can also change whatever the required default locally. The point. Shall I move forward to the next option over there? Okay, I'll go back to the company information page again. We'll see what is the importance of default language. Okay, so default language decide in what language we are seeing the entire org, the setup, all these language currently in English. If you change this option to any other language, this all will reflect in that language. Okay, so I would suggest don't do that. Sometimes you will lose, you know, uh, uh, the navigation, right? Because you will, unless you're not familiar with that language, you're unable to locate, change back to English. Get the point? So, but this is a option decide in what language user can see the org. So again, as we discussed for default locally, what will happen? The default language will be inherited for all the new users. Suppose I have users, who would like to see the org in Spanish. Then what I have to do? I have to go to that particular user page as an administrator. I have to go to that particular user page and change the locally. Sorry, here the language to the respective language what they prefer. You get it? So in that case, this particular user will see the org in the language as per the language setting here. Not every user. Suppose you change the language settings in the company page, that will be reflected to all new users. But in case if you like to set up different language for different users, you have to go to that particular user page and set it. You get it? So what we discussed for date, it is also applicable for language. So whatever you set in the company setting will be inherited for new users. For existing users, you can change with respect to the user need. Whether it's all the settings, it's applicable to the whole locally settings. Okay. Now the third one is default time zone. So what time zone you are following, right? So you're seeing like it is set it as India Standard Time. So reason reason you can see the exactly the time what is currently is being reflected here, 7 a.m. You get the point? So this setting decides what is the time we are following in the org. Wherever the time is being captured, it's going to be in Indian Standard Time. You get it? So suppose I'm setting up the meeting invite, the reminder. Okay, so there is a possibility, there is a feature you can set up the meeting invite, reminders, and many different features related to timing. So all those timing will work now with respect to the default time zone, you set it in company information page. You get it? So even so same thing is applicable. If you change here is anything other settings that will reflect for new users. For existing users, we can set up the time zone, what is preferred by the user. You get it? So this is how an administrator can change the other users default locally. But how about, suppose myself, I would like to change the default locally. Myself, I like to change. It's not, these very quite simple settings, because as a user, I would prefer sometimes in one language, sometimes in different language, and sometimes I would like to change the date settings to different. Maybe I would travel to different location. Then with respect to location, the country, I'd like to change my local settings. So it is not required you reach out administrator to change to do this. So this is something every user can change themselves. Like, if you take your Gmail, uh, uh, you can change certain things, right? You can change the look and feel, the background colors. You can change it, right? So there are certain things it is allowed in user in Salesforce, where every user can change, set up that particular value. So how to do that? Not here, not in this, uh, right? Because not all users will have access to the setup. So this, most of the time, this is only available to the system administrator, not for every user. So in that case, suppose a user would like to change, then where the user can change? It is here. I'm sorry, it is here. Okay. Every user will have access to this profile option. Every user will have access to the profile option. We have a settings here. Okay. We have settings here, and over here we have a display layout. I'm sorry, over here. Okay, my personal information, language and time zone. Yeah. So all users by default will have access to the profile and setting. Okay. So the users may not have access to the setup menu. Not all users. Depends upon the security model. The administrator would determine, we decide that the user will have access to the setup. So accordingly, you will see every user will see able to change the options, change the settings. But all users will have access to the this particular personal setting. Okay, settings and language and time zone. So here we can change, our own preference. Here, with all of you.
Sir, like you're saying like if at all if system only the system administrator will have access to change the settings of other users which are being added newly, but
Yeah,
if at all if we want to change our personal information, like if we want to change our settings, then we should go to profile. That's what you're saying.
yeah. Go here and settings. Every user can change. Yes.
Okay, but in the initial uh, initially we changed our like settings as English United States, but when we started creating a new user, it is showing the same time zone, right? The India time zone only, but not United time zone, since we did not change in the users page. Um,
Every new user will inherit Get it? Every new user will inherit from the what is set it in the company information page. That's it. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Again, we have more detailed notes in PDF format. I will share it today. Right. And we have another important settings called currency setting. So currency setting is, in the org, right? In the org, within the org, we have different tables, and the tables, in the tables would capture the currency value, right? Example, we have a table to store the customer details. Okay, and the customer could be individual customer or a business. So in the business, for example, we capture the annual revenue of the customer. Okay, the customer can be a individual person or a company, business, isn't it? In case of business, we have to capture the annual revenue. So currently, you are seeing certain the menus, right? We call them here, we refer here in Salesforce a tab. We refer here in Salesforce as tab. Okay, see, we are going to see this, uh, you know, uh, the tab, what it is, and much more detail later. Now, in order to understand, the currency things, I'm just referring this tab. Okay, but there will be a separate discussion will happen to discuss more about what is tab. Okay, now just focus on the importance of this particular field. You get it? Okay, so we are going to see what is this page and what is this much more detail later. Okay, now you can see the somewhere here uh, the currency is captured over here, isn't it? And somewhere here the date format is captured. That's what we discussed, right? So we just take a quick example of what is the date format and how the default locally is uh, affecting these format. Now the currency, so this is prefixed currently with um, Indian currency, isn't it? And just one currency you'll see here. I cannot capture, suppose this particular customer, uh, is running business in euro, then the currency should be in euro format. But currently there is no option, because you see here there is an option to it's quite uh, user friendly, right? Because it's showing like it's a you can edit. So when I edit, you're not seeing the format, you just have option to enter the numbers, isn't it? The moment I save this, it is saved in one format, a single currency. So all over my org, anywhere you capture the currency value, it is going to be in INR. The reason the currency what it set is here is INR now. You get the point? So currently by default, every org will follow only single currency, uh, you know, by default, which means the currency that you set here is going to be followed for all over the org. Okay, right. Now, how about if I have a new customer or multiple customers from different countries, which means they would like to follow a different currency format. Okay, in that case, we have to do certain changes. So over here you are seeing activate multiple currency, right? You have to enable this and save. So what will happen? So we are going to review this because we are not going to change this permanently, which is not common actually, but I just show you what will happen in case if you enable this. So we'll get into this page. Okay, the first important thing here is okay. So what is this actually? So this is a URL where you can see all the information about the product. Help.salesforce.com. It's like a free source, resource to know more about the platform, everything about the platform. That is the discuss what we about the locally what we discussed. Everything you can just locate and you can see more detailed information here. You get the point. So today go here either by using this link or else at the top you can see help for this page, right? So most of the page in Salesforce, you will have a help for this page at the top, which will give you more information about that particular page. Okay, so when you click on this, it will take you to the salesforce.com. Okay, now that's different. Okay, now back to enable multiple currency. So once enabled, you cannot disable it back. Great. Once enabled, you cannot disable it back. It's a one directional change. It is one directional change. Okay, right. What will happen if I change this? What will happen? Listen. I'll upload this document later for you. Okay, so which whatever we discussed, it is given here with some example. Okay, suppose I enable this option. You're able to see here. Suppose I enable this activate multiple currency. Once enabled, you cannot disable it back. You get it? Now, what will happen if you enable this? There will be another a new option will appear in your company setting page. So currently, if you see your company setting, there is no such option. Below company settings, we have business hours and fiscal year, holidays, language setting, and so on. So, but there is no option called manage currency. What will happen the moment when you enable it? Get an additional option called manage currency. That is one important change will happen. Next thing, you will able to see when you click on a manage currency, you will have an option to add multiple currency format. So currently there is only one currency we are following, right? So what will happen if you enable this? When you click and save, you'll get additional option here. When I click on this, the right side, you will get a page to add multiple currency. You get it? So over here, I can click new. I can add multiple currency. So in this screen, default it was US dollar. Now the user would like to add additional currency like Indian currency, and would like to add the Australian currency, isn't it? So all we are going to do is click new and add the decide the currency format. Okay, I would like to follow 3 different currency in my org. Then what I would do, I just click on new, choose the currency type. This is a predefined option. Okay, this is a predefined option you will choose. And one important thing here is currently among many currencies, whatever currencies you are adding, one currency would be the corporate currency. You get the point? See, we have a business in multiple places, but there will be one headquarters, right? There will be one headquarters. The company would follow that currency format. So that became, that became a corporate currency. So when you adding any other currency format like this, click go new and add the currency. You have to give the conversion rate yourself. For example, um, the Indian currency is one US dollar. It was old screenshot. Okay, now it is currently 80 plus something, right? So that conversion rate you have to add here. You have to add here. So which means we have to manually add this. It will not happen dynamically. By default, it won't happen dynamically. We have to add it. If suppose we have 10 currencies, then there is an option called edit rates. When you click on it, all the currencies will appear in one page. You can just add the conversion rate quickly here. So that's a only one option to do it manually. To make it dynamically, for example, it has to pick up the current exchange rate, the conversion rate dynamically. In order to do that, we have to use a different product. It's a pay product. Okay. So that we have to take it from App Exchange. Uh, when I in the first session I introduced what is App Exchange. You remember App Exchange, like your Play Store. You can download an applications, Android applications in Play Store, right? Similarly, there are multiple applications. You can select one and install in your org. You know, uh, in order to get the dynamic exchange rate, you have to locate that application. In that case, of course, that you have to pay for it. You get the point? You have to pay for it. Now, by default, uh, we have to the administrator has to enter the conversion rate. Okay, right now the place where you set up this, uh, you know, multiple currencies. Okay, now where this will reflect, of course, after all, the place where you are going to use here is like example, no, in the company page I'm using here, right? I'm entering the currency value. Now it is in single currency because my company page is set as currency locally. Then what will happen if I enable these and save? Then I added multiple currencies like this. Then now, suppose this guy is from Euro or Australia, for example. I would like to change the currency to Australian dollar. Okay. Now what will happen once enable multiple currencies in your company page? What will happen? Here you will get another field here, the field like this. You'll get another field here. Um, yeah. So what is this? You'll get a field like the currency code will appear. So here you decide, okay, the particular currency value is going to be in Australian dollar or US dollar, that you decide here. So over here you will get another field called currency. There you will decide what is this, which currency this value is, you are entering the currency in which format. So that you decide here. So now you don't have that field. Reason, it is in single currency format. We are all following one currency. If you enable this, then multiple other changes will happen. Where you can add the currencies like this, and that will also add an additional field in your page called currency, where you will decide which currency you are following. Is that clear to all of you? Is it clear? I'll share this document with you later. Somebody speaking? Fine, right? Any questions? We'll move on to the next one. We'll move on to the next one. Shall I proceed? Okay. So enough, seeing the information in this company information page. We are going to see, certain common, navigations and the terms, and how that's very important to understand before you get into uh, you know other topics like applications or tables and all. Okay, right, let's see. So what we are seeing here in my lightning experience called app launcher. You get it? So the name suggests, the name says, using this option we can launch the different applications. So applications, in short, it's referred as app. Application is in short referred as app. Organization in short referred as what? Organization in short referred as what? Org, isn't it? So what is app actually? App is a collection of tab. So tab I already mentioned, right? Tab I just introduced while we discussed the other one. The tab is a kind of interface. Tab is a kind of interface to see a table data. Okay, so CRM contains a table, right? We have multiple tables in my org. As I said already, Salesforce platform is a CRM platform, which means it has many inbuilt tables, right? To store customer details, to store product details. So how will you see the table data? Normally, if in any applications, right? Regularly, how will you see the table data in general? You have to a query, right? Suppose it's RDBMS, then Oracle. You have to SQL. You run a query using SQL language and see the data. Okay. In Salesforce platform, we have a very simple, quite user friendly. You can see the table data by using tab. So these are the tabs. Some of the tabs we have below the application called service. You get it? So service is a predefined, pre-built application has the tab. So all these tabs are grouped below this application. Okay, so this tab, each individual tab, if you click on this, it's showing up certain things right here. There is a drop down, and there are certain controls here, like a buttons, new, import, and over here we can select a particular option, it's showing us some data here. So how this data is coming up? This data is from table. This is not my actual table. This is the data is presented in this format. You get the point. So the data is retrieved from the table, the actual table from the database, and it is presented in this format. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 column of the table I am seeing, but the table might have hundreds of columns. The table behind this tab might have hundreds of columns, but through this tab I am seeing 6 columns by default. Okay, right. Now the tab is basically is an interface to see table data. Okay, and app is nothing but a collection of tab to perform functionalities for a business need. So what is my business need in the service application? To support customer. Okay, this is just an existing application. The purpose is to support customer. We'll see this much more detail later because it's a topic we have it in our curriculum. Okay, we have to see this much more detail later. Now I go to app launcher again. I go to different other application, and you can see only the few applications here. I can see all the applications by click view all. Okay, so we have sales application, and it is you can change the position. You can drag and change the positions. See, there are many other features available. You have to see it yourself by exploring this. Example, suppose I have multiple applications. I would like to locate the application quickly. I can filter here. You did. Okay. So all like this, you explore it. Okay, you explore it, and from here I can visit App Exchange. Right? I told App Exchange is a marketing place. You can get the pre-built applications, right? Like one I said for currency exchange rate, right? I think I never use that, but there is a way you can locate and install in your system. Let's see. Yeah, live currency converter, right? Okay, and you can click on get it now, and you will get all the that supporting developer org. Yeah, it's supporting developer org, and it's a free, but okay, it's a free only. But the purpose is might not be what we are looking for. I'm just located one application from the App Exchange just to show you what is App Exchange. Okay, right now you can get it now and you can install in your org. That's fine. You can experience this later. Back to tab. So now I am the sales application. We have different tabs here. Okay, and these tabs are you can arrange this. You can remove it. You can arrange this. Suppose I like to put these files over here, I can do this. You get the point? Okay, like this you can do. Now, I was talking about these controls, right? What it is actually. So this particular drop down is called, how do you call this? List view. Okay, so currently there are different list views, all accounts, my accounts, new last week. So by default, you registered, then you will also able to see these standard. Okay, there are two jargon we are using here. One is standard, custom. The standard means predefined, okay, built by Salesforce. Predefined and build inbuilt. The custom we created by user, right? So like an administrator or user who has access to create. So we create it. Standard means is a pre-built one. So what type of tab then you refer all this? What type of application in terms of standard and custom? Sales, service, are all called standard application. And we have a tab called account, isn't it? We have seen right at the top, account, contacts. So what are these tab actually? A custom tab. You understand what I'm talking about? Standard app, which means the app is already built one. The custom app, what do you mean by custom app? The app that we are going to create, the app the user can create. So what is the custom tab? The tab what user is going to create. The app, custom app means the app what user is going to create. You get it? Suppose we have a table, right? I'm going to create a table on myself. It's going to be a custom table. The table which is already inbuilt, standard table. So that is how you refer whether it's a inbuilt one or we create it. Okay. Now the list view is a standard list view. Of course, I can also create my own list view. I'll show you that. Okay. Now, what is the importance of list view? Right now, I'll quickly introduce the what is this tab. We are going to see the detail about what are the standard tables available in the org and what is the standard tab and all. Okay, that we need to discuss separately. Right now, I just quickly introduce a table called account. Right. One important, the jargon what we follow in Salesforce, that table is referred as object. The table in Salesforce we referred as object. We don't refer it as a table here. Of course, both referring the same, but we refer a table in Salesforce as object. Okay. Then account is a kind of object. I could also say it's a standard object, right? Because it is a part of CRM database. What is the use of this object? Right? They already build this object with columns. Okay, like the purpose of this table to store a business type customer. You get the point? You get the point? A business type customer. The customer could be a business. The customer could be a individual person, isn't it? So the name of the customer. If you're the business customer, then what could be the details you would capture? Name, annual revenue of the customer, the address, the type, right? The type would be, you can also say it's an industry, right? Whether they belongs to banking or insurance. Can you please hold on just 1 minute? Right. So I think now the object, okay, the object account, it's a inbuilt object, so we refer it as standard object to store business customer details, which means everything related to business, right? Name of the customer, type, annual revenue, what type of customer, location of the customer, etc. Okay, so here the list view, when you go all accounts, which means what? All customer details you can see here from the table. So how many customers we have currently? 14. How this has happened? These are not real customers. These are all test data given in developer edition. So everyone registered in a developer edition will have these test data. These are not actual customers in my business, right? The test data. Okay, now I click on this and go to the detail page, detail view. You can see here the informations are related to a company, right? So what is the importance? Warm means, it's quite important customer, phone number of the customer, website, uh, type, apparel customer, right? Apparel industry customer, everything you can see here about the customer, and all these columns are from the table only. Okay, so anytime you'd like to see all details of the customer, I can go this list view, all. Suppose I like to see anything this week, we added. Uh, Today I've created one a customer record called CTS, right? So below this tab, I have certain controls here to add new customer details. Okay, so normally you will insert a row into the table. In case if you are familiar with other application, we have to do the query, right? You have to do the SQL DML, using DML language, data manipulation. You can insert the row into the table, right? But it is a quite user friendly approach. You click on this, it open up a form. Just you're going to enter the details here. You get the point? Okay. Say, what will happen? This is going to insert a row into the table, which means object, account object, and go back here. You'll see over in this new this week. Okay, so we have registered just this yesterday only, right? So reason all accounts have been showing up. Okay, and there's no account because we got registered just yesterday only, no? So like this, for a quick reference, I can see the information from the table very quickly using this list view. So list view is basically a feature to list the data from that object and refer the data very quickly, without doing any query language, without using any query language. You can refer the data very quickly using list view feature. Suppose I would like to see, suppose I belongs to, user, a sales manager, someone working to a location India. Okay, location India. So I would like to see all the time, the customers belongs to a Tamil Nadu or India location. Not all customer details, but I do not have that list view here. Then I can create one on my own and and include some filter conditions so that I can just go and see that customer details very quickly here. Okay, how to do that? Don't confuse with this option. This option is to enter the new customer details. For list view, we have controls here. You get the point? Okay, so these are all much more user-friendly options. On your free time, you try exploring this. Okay, I'm just introducing this. Where we need to hang more, there we can spend more time. Since you are very beginner, I'm just spending quite more time here. But moving forward, where we need to spend more time hands-on, we'll stay and discuss, but not like this all the time. Okay, so this is quite a simple feature. Most of the feature you can explore. I just introduce certain features like this. Okay, now we'll see quite practical now. List view, we have option to new. Okay, so I would say customers India. Okay, and say you'll understand this option eventually. After we cover certain details, you'll understand this. So by seeing this, you know, right? But only I can see this list view. Everyone can see in my org. You get the point? Okay, now, yeah, why I'm able to see every customers below here? Because I haven't put a filter condition here. So there is a option to apply a filter, right? Add filter. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in this list view. Edit list filter. Yeah. Click on this. Based on what I'm going to apply the filter, based on this state. I'd say, of course, currently I have only value for state. In case if you like to filter based on the country, you can go with the country. Okay. Then say, you get it? You get it? So any type of list view you can set up, that's going to be a part of your list view. So this is applicable for most of the tab, given for particular object. For example, account, contact. We have a tab here. The purpose of the contact, the purpose of other objects, I will introduce later, not now. Okay. In order to explain you the features, what is tab? We have just seen one object called account. You get it? You get it? So the tab contains two important things, right? List views and the control to, or else I could say, the new button option, the new button to insert row into object. There are two important features that tab has. One is list view and tab. The rest of things are additionally, you need not focus on this, but there are two important features. Okay, so the same thing I would like to just quickly show in your classic. Switch to classic. Right. So where is my app launcher here? Where is my app launcher here? It is not here. It is in the form of drop down here. You get it? Where is my app launcher? It's application drop down. That's it. It's not app launcher. Okay. Sales. So here I do not have an option to drag and change the position like you have done it in your Lightning experience. You cannot do that here. Okay. Now I go to account. We have the list view here. And where is the option to create a new account? Where is the option to add a new row? Where? Over here. Okay. But in the case of Lightning experience, it was in different navigation. Now it is in different. But of course, we have access to list view like this, and you can create a new list view like this. Okay, everything is in one page here. You can set it here. And what columns you like to display, you decide here. You get the point? Clear? Is that clear? Okay. That's all for today. We'll have time. Sometimes down the line, we'll extend for longer hours, but not now.
So I have a request. Can we do the extension on Saturdays only? I mean, if it's comfortable with everyone.
Vishal, any request you send to me later? I'll check it out. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Not in the because we cannot get the consent from everyone at the time.
All right,
We have to
I'll do that.
because there are certain some of guys going for other meetings or something else. We'll check on it. We'll work on it. I'll also tell you you know I'll have some options in mind. I will email and get the opinion, then we'll decide. No worries.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, and yeah, so you'll get the details here, details in the notes folder, and the videos I'll upload later. Hope you're all able to follow and comfortable, right? All of you.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay then. Then we'll see you on Tuesday. Normally, we'll have to connect on uh, Tuesday to Saturday. That's what we have discussed, right? And um, coming Tuesday, we are winding up another LWC session for others. The Tuesday we're going to have a session. The next meet is going to be on Wednesday only because so normally Sunday and Monday is no class, and Tuesday we have to connect. But only for this Tuesday, there is a in another session I'm winding up. For them, there is a project review. So that's unfortunately overlapping here. So that will be done on Tuesday. Then later on, we'll have to continuously connect for session. Okay. And who are not registered, try to register. And I think the HR would have sent email to all of you. You can, in case if you have any queries or anything, you can reach out to HR also.